Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of live coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. We'll be right back to the show. But before we do, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, factormeals.com, where if you go to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50, you can get 50% off your first order. That's factormeals.com/unbroken50. If you're like me and you are a person who is busy trying to create a life, heal, work on their health, wealth, and relationships, and not to mention deal with the day-to-days of normal life, you do not have time to be going to the grocery store and trying to figure out what you're going to cook every single day of the week. In fact, one time I did the math and I realized I was spending over 15 hours a week at the grocery store and cooking. When I added Factor, I got to use that time for myself, for my family, for my friends, for my community, and for my business. And so if you're in the place where you need some more support in the kitchen, head to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50 to get 50% off. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of live coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. Welcome to the Michael Unbroken podcast. I'm Michael Anthony, author, speaker, coach, mentor, and advocate for adult survivors of childhood trauma. And in this podcast, I'm going to be bringing you the best of what I understand about healing trauma, overcoming our past, and ultimately becoming the hero of our own story. This podcast is not a replacement for mental health, but instead, think of it as a companion to help guide you into what is next in your life. My friend, thank you so much for being here with me. Do me a favor before we get started. Hit subscribe, like, comment, leave a review, tell a friend about it. And until next time, my friend, be unbroken. Let's get into the show. Hey, what's up, my friends? Long time no see. Sorry I've been away so long. I've been working on a couple really huge projects. You know, the podcast is near and dear to my heart, and I'm going to start creating more content for it. In fact, I'm leaning into a really special type of podcast here where I'm going to start releasing content every day. Like literally every day. It's going to be snippets. It's not going to be like the long interview formats. Those will still exist, but realistically, like that's not long-term viable for me. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to listen to me for an hour and a half every single day. But 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, like I'm going to try to create as much value as I can in a short period of time for you. So Thank you so much for being patient with me as I've been trying to navigate a lot of different things. I know it's been a couple of weeks since I released an episode. I typically don't batch out my episodes because I want them to feel fresh. I want them to feel current with what's going on, not only in my life as a coach, but in the world, and kind of reflecting some of the experiences that I'm having. So I appreciate you being patient. As for what I've been working on, I'll share that before we get into today's episode. And a couple of things. One, I just recently launched the very, very first Think Unbroken community coaching sessions. We got a ton of people in there. The onboarding is happening right now, so you still have time to start the April session, which will begin on Monday. We're going deep. I've created hours and hours of incredible content. It's got a team support element to it. It's got accountability element to it. It's got a community element to it, plus assignments and audios and videos and exercises and all of the high level, really what I would consider the baseline things that you need to know if you're going to step into this trauma healing journey. And it's powerful. So I highly suggest, if you have not yet, you still have time to join. Go to healtraumacoach.com and sign up. If you miss April, that's okay. We're doing it every single month forever. That said, so that's one thing. The other thing that I've been working on, which has been driving me fucking crazy, for lack of a better term, is working on getting my audiobook published. Finally, I recorded this thing months ago, and I have been battling back and forth with audiobook publishers about getting the content released. Childhood trauma is a very difficult subject. I get it. There's a lot of elements of things that need to be covered in this book that I brought to the table. I did not anticipate what was going to happen. And look, I don't blame anyone. It's not Amazon's fault. It's not Apple's fault or anything like that. I'm aggressive. I curse a lot. Like, that's who I am. And so, I got that rated R rating, you know what I'm saying? But the nice part is it's done. It's there for you. If you've been waiting to listen to Think Unbroken, Understanding and Overcoming Childhood Trauma on audiobook, you can finally do it. It's on iTunes. It is on Apple. Well, I guess it's Apple iTunes. I don't know if it's the same thing. I actually don't buy my audiobooks from them, but I'm going to buy my own audiobook from them because I want to understand how that works. So you can get it there. You can get it on Audible and everywhere else that audiobooks are sold. The other thing, part 3 of this, is actually probably like 12 parts. Part 3 of this, which is really exciting, is my second book is going to be coming out on May 15th. That book is called Think Unbroken, 8 Steps for Healing Your Inner Child. This is going to be a really interesting book. I haven't approached one from this side, so we'll see what happens there. I'm really excited. I'm not going to tell you too much about it yet, but just mark your calendar, May 15th, Think Unbroken, 8 Steps for Healing Your Inner Child. And then fourth, the last thing that I'll share with you right now, I teamed up with Charity Water. If you're not familiar with them, they are a charitable organization, and they help build not only sustainable water sources, but healthy and clean water sources around the world. I came across Charity Water a few years ago. I started donating personally. I just got myself into their spring donation. If you're not familiar, you can go check that out. And I was thinking about how do you really create change in the world at scale? And you have to be a part of movements. You do, and you have to create them. Think Unbroken, whether you understand it or maybe I haven't really been clear and concise in the way that it exists, is a movement. Think Unbroken is a movement to the ultimate goal of ending generational trauma. And Charity Water, they are moving towards the ultimate goal of giving water to everyone. No one on planet Earth should be without water. It's insane to me that in 2021, that's still a conversation we're having. The reason why I teamed with them as opposed to many other charities is because, one, they're incredibly forthright. You can go and see exactly where every penny donated goes in that organization. And that's really important to me. One of the unfortunate things about charitable donations in America especially, you don't know where that money's going. In some of these places, it's filling CEOs' pockets, and that's really gross. So I teamed up with Charity Water, and all proceeds, let me rephrase that. I apologize. 10% of revenue, of all the proceeds that come in, 10% from the healtraumacoach.com coaching program in perpetuity will go to Charity Water. My goal this year is to raise $10,000 for charity water. That builds a well that creates water that is sustainable for a community in the world. And this is really important to me because when I was young, and I've shared this story briefly in the past, we were homeless. And if we weren't homeless and we happened to be in our home, we had a couple of different houses. We were always getting evicted and kicked out and moved here and moved there. And it was a lot. And one summer, I'll never forget this, I was 8 or 9 years old, and the utility company had come to our home. And actually, what's really funny is I might have shared this story. I'm sorry. It's been 2 weeks since I've done a podcast. So if I just shared this, I apologize. But I want to share it so you understand why I decided to team up with Charity Water. So a couple weeks ago, I was online. I went to Google and I looked up the address of the house that I grew up in so I could make sure that I wasn't crazy and misremembering an experience. And going into this Google map, thank you, Google Maps, by the way, for confirming this and me not having to get on a plane and go back to Indiana. So anyway, one day in the summer, it's August, burning, scorching hot, humid Indiana summer, the utility company comes and they shut off our water. We had this small manhole cover in the front of our house, and I'll never forget, the guy reaches down there with this big socket wrench and he turns off our water. Now imagine this. Being in America, the place of wealth, where all of your dreams come true, where you have unlimited resources, where nobody, the lies that we're told sometimes just boggle my mind. And so imagine this, a child in America going without water. And that was my experience. So the water company, they came in, they turned off the water. We had none. You see, my mother, she was spending her money on drugs and alcohol. My stepfather, who knows? I really have no idea. And so we were faced with that, and I had this little blue bucket, and I would take this little blue bucket, and like a little sneak thief in the night would go to the neighbor's house, and I would steal water off of their spigot. Would literally fill that little blue bucket up with water, because that was our water. It would literally be our drinking water. It'd be the water we would use for the day. And I would come back home, and we'd put that water in the house, and it would sit there on our cabinet. And then we would go and take a picture. We'd fill that up. We just do this rinse and repeat. And so we were drinking water off the side of our neighbor's house for sometimes weeks, literally weeks at a time. And then the water company would come back. They'd turn it back on. Or my mom figured out if you turned it on just enough that it dripped, then you could have running water in the house. And so she actually got this wrench, and I put my arm down in the bottom of that manhole cover, and I turned it just enough so it was a drip. And I'll never forget this. She says, if you turn it on too much, they're going to know and they're going to come and you're going to get in trouble. And I remember thinking how crazy that was, even at like 8 or 9 years old, and being like, this is fucking insane. I can't believe this is happening right now. And turning that water on and getting that drip and just being in that environment and filling up that little bucket and thinking about as an adult and looking at that moment as being one of the catalysts that I've shared before about the reason why I'm so aggressive and obsessed with my goal of ending generational trauma in the world. And it's really in that moment because I recognize looking and stealing water as this little kid, like it didn't make sense. Not only was the house a house of chaos and violence, but so was the entire world to me. And so I decided, I'd been thinking about teaming up with a charity. I'm working on, I guess the fifth thing is I'm working on the Think Unbroken Foundation. I'm not going to give details on that yet because I'm ironing it all out. But I do want to team up with Charity Water because children, adults, it doesn't matter. No one on planet Earth should go without water. And so 10% of all of the revenue from hilltraumacoach.com, from my community coaching sessions, from the app, that is going to go to Charity Water. This is the first time I've actually announced that, so I'm really excited about that announcement and teaming up with them. And again, my goal is to raise $10,000 this year. So here's the deal, guys. I recognize the importance of continuity in a podcast. I promise I am getting there. I've just been executing against these things that felt like priority. I know that you listen. I see the reviews. I see the shares. I see the numbers. I appreciate you. Know that this podcast is not going anywhere. I'm still here. Podcast is still happening. We're going to keep releasing episodes. I'm actually building out the team to help me do that right now. There's a lot of things coming from this brand that I think are going to be really impactful. And so for those of you that listen to this, that get the notification, that download, that message me, that comment, that come in from this podcast to all the things that we're doing here, just know that I appreciate you. I really, truly do. I'm sorry I've been gone for so long, but realistically, sometimes other things take priority. You probably notice I've basically kind of disappeared from Instagram other than posting every now and then. But we're getting back to it. I'm in this position, which is really wonderful, in which the company is growing. This movement is growing. People are helping, and we're creating change together. And because of that, I'm going to keep going forward. I'm never going to stop doing this until the day I die, because realistically, as you may know, if you've been listening or following me long enough, the number one goal that I have in the world, literally the number one thing that oversees the entire way I exist in the world, is to end generational trauma. And we can only do that by thinking unbroken. So I just want to thank you so much for being here and being a part of this and the podcast and the movement and everything, for listening to the audiobook, for buying the audiobook, for reading all of the things that I do, for following the blog, for following me on social. This is just a huge message of gratitude. We're not going to dive into any coaching stuff today. I just wanted to give you an update on what's going on, where I'm at, what's happening in my world, and let you know that very soon we're going to start releasing episodes every single day. Let's call them micro episodes, right? Just so that you can get something every single day that can be a tool for you to move forward in your life. So thank you so much, my friends. I appreciate you. I can't wait to talk to you again soon. And until next time, be unbroken. I'll see ya. Thank you so much for hanging out today with the Michael Unbroken podcast. Before we head off, do me a favor, please. Hit that like or subscribe button, leave a comment or review, and tell a friend. It would mean the world to me. And just so you know, I read every single review. I listen to your questions. And if you need to, you can reach out to me directly anywhere on social media at Michael Unbroken, or email me directly to michael@thinkunbroken.com. Remember, my friend, though trauma may be our foundation, it is not our future. Until next time, be unbroken. I'll see ya. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of live coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program.
When it comes to clothes, having pieces that you can wear anywhere is a must. That's why American Giant makes clothing that fits your life seamlessly, with quality you have to feel to believe. Whether you're stocking up for any weather or picking up a special gift, you'll find an impressive selection of staples to choose from. So whether you're on the hunt for a heavyweight hoodie, a fleece jacket, or a hardworking pair of warm sweatpants, American Giant has what you're looking for. Each American Giant piece is designed to last and created with commitment to doing things better. And all their products are made right here in America. Because keeping things local ensures the kind of quality you'll feel and appreciate for years to come. Discover the American Giant difference today. Shop Wear Anywhere closet staples at american-giant.com. And get 20% off your order when you use code ANYSTYLE24 at checkout. That's 20% off at american-giant.com. Promo code ANYSTYLE24.